I'd just like to take a moment to thank you for taking some time out of your day to listen to my speech. So today we are going to be discussing psychological type indicators and their relevance to finding a job. So let's just go ahead and skip back there. So the quote that I pulled is from the Isabel Myers-Briggs Memorial Library, and it's actually by Isabel herself. And she says, "We cannot safely assume that other people's minds work the same as our own." And I think that's very important to carry not only into your personal life, but also your professional life. So the main focuses of today are going to be number one, your psychological type indicator, and to find yours, you can go to 16personalities.com, and then you're going to go ahead and take the free quiz, and then it'll spit out your type at the end. So number two, you're going to be using your type to find a fitting specialty, and number three, applying your knowledge to the workplace once you do find that job. So let's hop right in here. So the Myers-Briggs type indicator is the biggest and most popular type indicator in my knowledge. So in this type, there are 16 unique different types, and each are sorted by 4 categories. So the first one is how you are focused. That's going to be introverts versus extroverts. If you're introverted, then you're going to be more private and reserved, where extroverts are talkative and very outgoing, and you enjoy being the center of attention. Moving on is going to be how you take in information. That's going to be sensing versus intuition. So if you're more sensing, then you tend to focus on the reality of how things are. You like concrete facts and details, where intuitive thinkers like to imagine the possibilities of how things could be, and you're more prone to notice the bigger picture and how things connect. Our third category here is going to be how do you make your decisions? That's thinking versus feeling. So for thinking, you make your decisions in an impersonal way. You use logistical reasoning and you value justice and fairness, where feeling types base their decisions on personal values and how their actions affect others. They like to please others and point out the best in people. So our last category here, number 4, is how do you live your outer life? That's going to be judging versus perceiving. So judgers prefer to have their matters settled. They think that rules and deadlines should absolutely be respected, and you prefer to have detailed instructions. Where perceivers tend to leave their options open, they think that rules and deadlines are flexible, and they like to improvise and make things up along the way. They're very spontaneous. So each of these traits defines how a person differs from the next in their motivations, interests, values, and reactions to situations. So next, we're going to go ahead and go into how they pertain to your place in the workforce and how to use your type to find a career that will be fulfilling and worth your resources. I'm going to hop into that slide here. So these are the optimal trait environments written by Dr. Page in a news article. So she says, for example, an introvert will likely enjoy a job where individualistic work is stressed rather than an extrovert enjoying environments relying heavily on teamwork and interaction with their peers. So the next category here is going to be sensing versus intuition. Sensing types thrive in an environment where noticing the small details is important, where intuition types flourish in careers that require analyzing all the moving parts at once, looking at the bigger picture. So our third category is, of course, going to be thinking versus sensing. If your decisions are driven by thinking rather than sensing, then you prefer to take emotion out of the equation when making a big decision. And those that are driven by feeling are more likely to consider the effect their decisions have on others and try to find a more harmonious solution. So our last category here is going to be judging versus perceiving. So if you view your external surroundings through judging, then you're more likely to blossom in an environment where rules and procedures are followed very closely. You like to rule with logic and order, where if you're a perceiver, then you would enjoy the work structure to have flexible deadlines and the ability to embrace different and new situations in workflow procedures. So all your unique and individual traits will work cohesively to create and adapt to your workflow technique and preferences, and they also help in communication and harmony between coworkers and management. So the Myers-Briggs test has been used in many different professions to improve overall communication and team collaboration. So one of the biggest ones that it's used in is the medical field, and there was a study done by Linda Burkett, and she did a study in a community hospital where it was in 2015, where 8 nurses completed a study involving the application of the Myers-Briggs type indicator in collaborative decision-making. In the findings, it was reported that there was actually an 87.5 improvement in collaboration, a 62.5 increase in team trust, and a 50% improvement in overall understanding and communication skills. And that's pretty huge, especially with the top-notch care that our health teams absolutely have to provide to their patients. So the next profession that it is commonly used in is the law profession. So it's specifically very useful for lawyers because they can use the test to find a way to appeal to the jury as well as negotiate for their clients. It enhances their ability to identify value and communicate about their clients' needs, and analyzing their behavioral inclinations just so they can improve their performance in court, and analyze their jury just to see what's going to stick the best. So just to round out today's lesson and conclude my points, the psychological personality type indicators can be extremely useful in analyzing your strengths and weaknesses and applying them to your career, both in finding and maintaining a job. And just reviewing our main points here. So the Myers-Briggs test is the most popular test to identify your perceptions, judgments, and your preferred communication styles, which is why it's used so commonly. The combination of your unique traits, in addition to the combination of taking multiple tests, is going to show you what type of environment is the best fit for you in the workforce by identifying what is most likely to fit your needs and work with your strengths. You can use these traits to further your work relationships, to build trust, communication, and collaboration. And by taking the type indicator test, you can help solidify your future and find your place in the world, which I know is very important for college students. I know I struggled with it for a while. So I'd just like to close out by saying thank you for giving me your attention and have a wonderful day.